first I have to say thank you to Toyota Foundation and thank you for Crossfields. They really are a sponsor for this event, and they really want to promote organic agriculture. So they help finance us to write our experiences in a book. If you also want to buy the manual, yeah, maybe after the. It's over here because it's just like fresh off the publisher. 250. Yeah, may pictures pa. So, thank you Toyota Foundation and thank you Crossfields for that. Okay, so we have 3 objectives for today's workshop. We want you to go home with 3 intentions. One is to know whether CSA is something for you. It's not for everyone, but like whether it's useful for you. Second is we want you to be able to network with people here because some of us are producers and some of us are consumers. And you know, agriculture is very land-based, so it depends on where you are. You can connect with different people. And yeah, the third one is for you to be able to come up with a map. So by no means we've charted just one path to creating a CSA. So I won't be able to tell you everything about it, but I want to enable you to have kind of the next steps if it is for you to continue. Okay, our technology does not work, so we will show you photos from the, well, there. See, pretty.
Yeah, so impressive.
Canva. Yeah. We'll also upload it naman. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I said. I memorized it. To evaluate whether CSA is a fit for you, to meet neighbors who may be able to support you in this initiative, and to start you off with a map, just a general kind of idea on what the next steps or what to find out before you begin. Okay, so, but first, who are we? Hi, I'm Shar. That's Ernest. There's Kara. We are Good Food Community, and it took us a while to come up with like a mission statement. You know how painful. But it's like really soul-searching, and we came up with this after several years. So Good Food Community is an alternative food system based on ethical and ecological farming that enables consumers to become co-producers. So by means of you being here and wanting to be a co-producer, we are fulfilling our mission somehow. And so thank you for being here. So we is not just the people you see here, but now we now also represent about 60 farmers all over kind of northern Luzon mostly. So we have Chico River Organic Producers Association organization in Bauco Mountain Province. They are like primary producer. They're the ones I say that we can come up with full year purchase agreements with, so we can really think long term with them. And they've been amazing this year. We started with Kapas Organic Farmers Producer Cooperative. Nag-away sila, kaya may cooperative and may association, but more on that later. But they've been with us for a long time, the longest time. We work with Dindin, who heads the Center for Bayanihan Economics, Life Bank in Angat, Bulacan, and Dumagats of Daraitan and San Isidro through Che of Shereza. You should also network with her. So she is our bridge to them. So these are also our farmers in our network. Huh? In Tanay. Well, Daraitan, yeah. Our co-producers, so I mentioned a number of them before because we're also very grateful for them. Wildflower really helped us out. Yeah, collecting checks. But yeah, I think Chef Alan was, very intentional, and his strategy is to, telling all these stuff, but his strategy was like not just buy from one farmer, but several, because he knows that the more we can have like industry grow, the better for everyone. So, and especially if something happens, a typhoon happens to one guy, at least we have others. So that is also, the redundancy is important in growing. So we're very grateful to him. Leah is like our super subscriber. Back in like 2013, when there was no one else to talk to, Leah was like, she started buying our vegetables, and she was like, your patola tastes amazing. Like, really? But she was like, no, it seriously tastes like the best ever. And I guess it's the freshness or something, but she would bring us into her kitchen and teach us like how to cook the vegetables, how to appreciate it. We even borrowed money from her, like when we were, but like she really believed in what we had to do. And so that gave us the confidence that there are people who would buy into this service. Of course, the people in the middle, Healthy options, we deliver New Zealand spinach, bananas, some items to healthy options. They used to buy much before, but they're part of that full portfolio.
Reason not to wrap it in plastic because I can't buy anything because it's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, we've tried. We've also tried to have them buy the ugly vegetables. It's also ugly anyway. But so for many different reasons, we are grateful to them, but they also have a place in our portfolio of who we supply. So they have a place, but you're right. They're over here in terms of like our synergies in terms of values. And then, of course, Rap of Purple Yam and Amy, who really like, even in intention, wants to put Filipino food on the map and cares about the ingredients even before you deliver it to them. So they really help kind of like create the story and create what we are building together. So we're grateful to all of them. And of course, my team. You saw this photo already. I'm so proud. So I guess the question to Nicole's question is also like, how do you build it with other people? I honestly could not have done this alone, and so it's really a matter of grace that Ernest, yeah, so I conned him into joining. Just like no, everyone joins of their own volition because of the world we're trying to create. And they choose this over anything else. You'll hear his side. Okay, and so aside from these faces, there is obviously a larger community of like Good Food Sundays, the people in the market, all these other people who've really made this possible, like too many to mention. Good Food Sundays is at Mandela Park, Shaw Boulevard. So it's a zero waste market. Now it's mostly vegan or plant-based. We take the zero waste quite seriously. It's not exclusively vegan, but that's how it turned out to be. But the idea is really it's a space for people to become agents in their food system, to learn more about the issues around it, and to make those decisions. Because if you've ever tried to be zero waste, you don't do so very easily without the kind of access points to do that. So it's a space to kind of be agents of change together and to create the businesses that would then support that lifestyle. Okay, to the core aspects. I have a feeling many of you already know this, but like, if you allow me to kind of share this, I have some anecdotes around it anyway, so hopefully it'll kind of bring it to light. So, community shared agriculture, by guaranteeing a minimum purchase of seasonal produce, we enable our farmers to farm ecologically, feeding the soil, their family, and yours. So basically, it's a holistic, like you are a part of this food system that enables everyone to be nourished. And you will notice that there's an idea of a guarantee, which I'll get into a little bit later. But that's pretty important because of the issues that Nicole talked about. It's highly perishable product. You grow with people in mind who will buy it, because if it's just a commodity, then, buti sana if it were like coffee or, something else. You have different problems then. But like, food is not like any other kind of manufacturing business. You can't really stock it that long. And it's personal, right? Okay, so 3 aspects: people, ecology, commitment. And the whole idea is to create a sense of we, by this practice, to begin talking about our soil, our health, and our world. So one by one. A long time ago, so when I was Googling where CSA came from, I don't know how true it is, but Google says so. Like, the earliest story I heard was that women, kind of like after the Second World War, women in Japan wanted safe food for their kids, for their families. And there was a lot of like distrust of the conventional food chains, especially with like, as a side note, did you know that nitrogen fertilizer is a byproduct of like the weaponry in World War II? So I guess there was a lot of that, and then along with the pesticides. So there was a lot of fear in Japan about where our food comes from. And so the women banded together and talked to a farmer and said, can we buy safe food from you, like ecologically produced food directly from you? And then the farmer said, yes, if you promise to buy everything, because I can't sell it any other way. And this shows like how it's very different from conventional food systems. So a basic idea of community shared agriculture, sometimes they call it food with the farmer's face on it because it is direct, because you know who you're getting it from. And I think this is a core element to what we're trying to build. So the sense of face is very important. And it also kind of ties into this idea of like, I know with organic there's a lot of certification now, but because it's so local, parang sana hindi na kailangan. Hopefully, if you already trust your farmer, you know who your farmer is, you don't need to pay someone 50,000 pesos each year just to tell you that your practices are organic. You can tell every person who visits your farm what you do, and there's nothing to hide. Why would that person lie to you when you are the steady buyer? So that's how trust is sana meant to be established, face-to-face, person-to-person, week-to-week. And of course, local. So CSA really emerged as an idea to relocalize our food system. Who are our farmers and how can we be in partnership with them? So I think a core idea is to begin buying from people with faces and not corporations. Commitment. So this is where the guarantee comes in. I think in many expressions of CSA, you may or may not have a subscription model, you may or may not have a trial or, but I think it's every farmer's wish that everything is pre-sold. And I think the reason why we don't allow is because we want to meet people where they are. But really the ideal system is for set community to support the practice of agriculture. So if you can pre-sell your vegetables, or if you have if you can gather enough commitments to buy it, that would make a very big impact on whether the farmer can grow things or not. Like this. So that's why the subscription model works, because it's highly perishable, because when you send it out, it's what's there and people have to eat it. The idea of choice. So I think this is a very sticky issue because many of us are used to choosing what we're going to eat, right? And then you think like tinola, and then you buy, right? Or you think sinigang, and then you buy. But this kind of flips it on the head and saying that we don't eat what we want necessarily, but what nature gives us. So it is a conscious decision to give more power to the producer for a reason, because it is so imbalanced now. Now the market determines what you're eating. Well, even though you think you have the freedom of food choices, it's usually kind of the same thing. But when we allow the producer to make that choice, the producer will have a very different idea in mind. It's what's good for the soil, what's good in the season, and what would nourish you. So that's why there's some element of kind of giving the farmer or giving the producer that option in supplying what they have. And the notion of fair prices. Now, there's no one-size-fits-all kind of like, I did look up fair trade. It turns out to be like a checklist of things that you have to do that may not have anything to do with what the farmers believe or think on the ground. So for us, fair trade is, are you okay with the price? Am I okay with the price? Are we okay with, and sometimes it's not just price, it's also when will you pay me? How often will you buy? So there's so many other things to the terms of how we're working with the farmer that make it fair. And I'm sorry, I can't tell you like for sure that this is fair, for sure that's fair. It's something for you to determine for yourself. But hopefully if we build a community of practice, we can begin talking about how to kind of like minimally codify it. But for us, it's been that way, to kind of continually ask, are you guys okay with this? If we don't put in the plastic, can we get a discount? Can we, if we don't, those things. So it's just kind of like having that dialogue with the farmer that's now possible with a localized food system, and the conscious idea to figure out what's fair for both parties. Yes. Yes, so the question is, I don't know if you've heard it, but like, do we work with them on the farmer's own business model? Because the farmers are businessmen, right? They need to make a profit to sustain themselves. We try. So at the beginning, you realize that the farmers don't have a balance sheet. I don't blame them. I don't have my own balance sheet, right? But like, they do not pay attention to their costs. And so depending on their readiness, we try, we do financial literacy, and then if they respond, and they go back. But we always try to mirror back to them, like every quarter, every so often, like, this is how much you guys delivered to us. This is how much you guys earned from our business together. And this is how much we could have earned if we fulfilled the order, And so like slowly, these numbers begin to matter. And I think that's how business can meet them where they are. Another thing that we're trying to do is, I guess, do that business for them in a way, like try it out ourselves and measure the yield, measure and see if it really works out on paper. And then you will have not surprising and not so surprising feedback, like, I wouldn't do rice, or oh, I wouldn't do squash. And maybe I do arugula. I get why people do arugula now, or I get why people go through salad greens because of the turnover. So, yeah, if you're going to work with your farmers, you will enjoy doing that as well. Yes. So the question is, do we supply the seeds or do they grow their own seeds? They produce their own seeds. It's both. So sometimes we provide the seeds, especially for items that we want to encourage. And we find out too soon that the farmer can't do it without the seeds. So, even though they said they will. In some areas, they can find the seeds themselves, and that's great. But other times, we have to provide it. There's for certain things that they already grow their own seeds, like mustasa, mustard greens, and radishes. Right, Jyoti? That's why I'm pushing radishes. So, we try, I think, as much as Kai Farms to promote and to tell you what the farmers can grow themselves, so that we can foster that kind of independence. But right now it's still a little bit of both. And I think for a foreseeable future, until we get our seed system up and running completely for seed exchanges. Yes.
So how do you maintain your balance? You mentioned earlier, we want to experience what farmers really would like to grow.
Yeah.
Versus being able to supply them the seeds, because that is the commercial feedback we're getting from your customers.
Yeah.
Because I think there is
Yeah.
that really good intention of this is what the farmers know how to do and this is what they feel.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be
A push and pull.
feedback.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
Okay.
You just don't grow mustasa and radishes.
Yeah. So for the question is, how do you balance what the farmer can grow, what he can do well, he or she can do well, and what the customer wants? So the idea is we have that portfolio. So if we were just supplying healthy options, if we were just supplying restaurants, it's going to be all salad greens, if it were completely market dependent, because that's what works. So that's why having the subscription model is important also, because we feel that we can offer a diversity of produce that the farmer eats themselves. And though we get things like carrots and beets and things that are not endemic or they can't see themselves, it's still what the market wants, but they also eat it. And slowly, when they get the full bayon, they get things like tamarillo. They get things like citrus that they already have, and so your consumers also begin to understand what's there. So it's a little bit of both, and that's why we maintain that whole portfolio. Yeah, and that's why we can't go directly just institutional, because that's not sustainable for us. So yeah, and in terms of the quality, sometimes we have to make hard decisions. Okay, if we can't deliver it well, we won't do that anymore. And so it's but you have to try, right? And then you have to get feedback, what's wrong? What do they need to know? Is it the packaging? Is it is it soft core rot? Is it something else? So it's maintaining that feedback system of which products are good for the farmer and good for the market. But we try to maintain a diversity for that reason.
Shar, are your seeds organic, and are they from what companies?
Our seeds are, I think Allied Botanical has come up with a statement that their seeds are organic, or there's no pesticide. And so when we have the chance, we buy from them. I cannot guarantee that all the seeds that go through our system are organic. What we try to follow at the minimum is the Philippine National Standards, which is you soak, to remove the fungicide or whatever. So that's as best as we can do. Waiting for the seed system to come flowing. Yeah. And then finally, the third aspect is sustainability. So I think like we're all people of climate change, and we're seeing, yes, we're seeing how our current systems are failing us. So this is really a search to find out. We can't ignore nature anymore. We can't ignore we cannot sell the future of our children for what we want now. It's just not responsible. So the move of delivering vegetables that is for sure grown in a safe way is an effort to bring in the externalities that the conventional farmer keeps external into the full cost of what you're growing. Did you get that? So it is an effort to take in all that externalities. Like in order to produce really good food, I need to do this to the soil. I need to help it out in this way. I need to care for it. We need to visit our farmers. We need to send it through this way. So it's costing all of that to do the right thing. Whereas the conventional food chain often just leaves it all to the future to pay for. And we're saying that this is no longer acceptable. But this is really how much food costs right now. So it's an effort to do that, basically full cost accounting and caring for the soil. And that's why I think diversity comes in also, because the more diverse things that you can grow, the more nutrients will find a home in your soil. And that's why we work with seasons and diversity, to be short. So those are the three aspects that make agriculture community supported. How did that sound? Clear. Okay. Oh wait, it's Ernest's time to shine.
No, I'm not an engineer. Actually, I graduated economics from here, sa Ateneo. So, nag-play siya or agad, but I didn't want it to play. But I wanted you to be bedazzled by my petals and my Yun. So, I think I spent a couple of hours just doing my animation. So, medyo susulitin ko siya. Uulitin ko ulit. Para lumabas ulit yung petals. Para sulit. Para sulit siya. So, yun. Parang in some senses, like, the way we do what we do. So parang I think that's how everybody, that's how everyone describe what they're doing naman throughout today. So parang it's how you take care of the soil, how the soil takes care of the plant, and then further on towards parang down the line. So parang think of it in petals, yung parts of it, but like I said, it's hindi siya lahat. I mean, yun, ito lang yung experience namin. So, originally din, parang the way I discussed this was very parang puro textbook siya. Parang very textbook kind of way. So, parang super theoretical. So, I thought of it in the way na I'll just tell you parts of our story, tapos I'll just show you how these elements came about in our story. So, yun. I'll just go through parang parts of it very quickly. So parang one of it is the supply. I don't know if you can see, medyo maliit lang yun. So yung supply. So of course, with any kind of business naman, you'd have to have supply. Parang you have to get your product from somewhere. So since we're talking about agriculture, parang understanding how your supply works. So basically the seasonality of the vegetables, the topography of your farm, ano yung klase ng produce na kaya mo i-grow. Tapos at the same time, it's not just the product but also the people that you're working with. You can be a farmer yourself, which is parang a farmer-led CSA, or you can be parang a consumer-led, which is based from the people buying. So parang if you're working with your farmers, if you found a community of farmers, you want to understand how to work with your farmers then. Kasi it's not like we're not transaction-based relationship naman. What we're trying to create is a relationship with the farmers. So it's just not about the product lang. So understanding how they work, understanding their values then, ganyan. So like what Char discussed earlier, yun, yung shared goals nyo, values, ganyan. And then the target market. So consequently naman, parang if you're a consumer-led CSA, you're probably going to be the main market for it. Not to say that you're the only market, pero parang in a sense, you're the captured market for it. So if you're the market yourself, so si target market medyo easier to understand. Pero parang if you're a farmer-led CSA naman, then you need to understand who your market is. Who are you trying to sell to? What are their needs? What are their demands? Ganyan. Tapos, yun. When those two come together, parang, I guess, the same question na tinatanong ni Sir kanina, how do you balance that out? So, yun, parang, how Shar answered din, parang, it's just a basic understanding of both and then where you can meet halfway para beneficial for both. Kasi, like I said, it's not just a transaction basis, di ba? Parang, relationship siya. So, what works for you, what works for me. It's a constant conversation between the two parties. Tapos, yun, these don't have to come in chronological order. So, when we tell our story, you'll see din naman from our perspective. But yun, the basic idea lang na parang the product or the price comes after the target market and the supply is because, well, if you have a better understanding of both, then you know what kind of product you can offer your market. So, if you're a farmer, alam mo ngayon kung ano yung kailangan ng consumers mo. Diba? Parang, what's their willingness to pay for certain products, what kind of products do they need, what are their values then in terms of their product. Parang some kasi mas may premium on it being local, some of it premium on being organic, some of them being fresh, diba? So depende din on who the farmers are working with. Parang sometimes the freshness is not as fresh as you want them to be. Kasi parang like for us, we work with some farmers in Mountain Province, super malayo siya. So our idea of freshness will be different from, say, you're working with farmers that are much closer. Tapos lastly, logistics. It doesn't matter if you have a good product if you can't get it to your customers. It's as basic as that. So, yun. Like I said, I wanted to go through a timeline of how our experience was para lang mas may body yung sinasabi namin. Parang these are our observations. These are kung ano yung nakita namin throughout the years that we've been working on. Yes. Again, 2 hours. So, babalik-balik ako to mamaya. So yun. Today we're happy to share din we're at a very steady state. Like we're not trying to fight knock on all the wood that you can knock on. Pero yun. We're not fighting fires as much as we did. Like before, it was just one fire after the other. Parang ganun talaga kami. So, the fact that now we can step back and come up with a manual and just not be doing what we're doing. So, the fact that we can check on our data, check on how the process is. Basta we can evaluate how we're doing. So, that's a good sign. So, yun, to start, kinuha ni Shar yung line ko eh. Sabihin ko na, a long time ago, but, yun. Iniisip ko nga din, parang in a galaxy far away. Pero, wala na eh. Parang yung idea na medyo nawala na rin for me. So, yun. I'm assuming naman nakinig kayo lahat kanina dun sa talk ni Shar. So, parang I guess some of it medyo lalabas din. So yun. Sana nakinig kayo, pero ako hindi ako nakinig kasi sawa-sawa na ako kay Shar. So, hindi, sawa na talaga ako eh. The fact na she tricked me into coming into good food.
You're welcome. You're still here.
And I'm still here, so I'm still being tricked is the idea. So, yun. So, around... Yes, that's 10. Pero ako hindi pa, siya lang. Hindi pa ako naluloko nito. I was still in college at this time. So yun. In 2009 yun, I think Shar mentioned in her talk kanina na she met this volunteer, or yun ba yun? So different. Yun. She was working in Cebat back then, so she met a volunteer. Dutch was he? She a Dutch UK volunteer. Tapos yun, she heard about the idea of CSA, and then she thought about it, parang, oy, good idea to. Why don't we do it? This was in 2009. So, parang in our story, yung product inauna. Parang we had an idea of what we wanted to sell to the people. Tapos how we wanted to work with the farmers. But at that time, parang hindi pa siya masyado, So yun yung nauna for us, yung product and then yung price. Tapos in 2011, since she was working with Sibat at that time, si Sibat kasi works on renewable energy and sustainable agriculture. So they had a demo farm in Capas Tarlac. and then they were working with the farmers there. So they were already teaching the farmers sustainable agriculture, ganyan, just teaching them how to grow organic vegetables. So yun, parang sinasabi ni Shar kanina, they're mainly rice farmers kasi. So yung organic produce nila, yung vegetable production nila is more backyard. And usually for the women in the family, kasi usually naman for rice, it's the men who tend to it. So when we started working with them, yung women yung we started working with. Tapos it was just whatever vegetables that was there, that was already growing, na parang it started with just to feed themselves, ganyan. Tapos because they realized then that there was room to grow that. And I don't know how much of you understand, pero parang in terms of rice kasi, yung income stream din yung rice, very seasonal, di ba? Parang you plant the rice, you harvest it maybe 3 or 4 months after, tapos that's the only time you get your income. So parang for yung vegetables for them was a good source of income na although a lot smaller compared to rice, very steady siya. So parang they get income here, they get income here, pero meron siyang small in between. So it was very helpful for them na meron sila nakukuha in between for that. So yun yung supply side for us. Tapos in 2012, although parang before 2012 naman, after 2011 that she found the farmers, they had a different business model, but obviously that didn't work because I wasn't there. Joke lang. Pero I can only speak from my experience naman din. So in 2012, naloko ko ni Shar to join. And then we talked to a group in Ateneo here. Parang we just asked them, what kind of vegetables do you want? When do you want to get it? How much are you willing to pay for it? Etc. etc. So we just talked to them. Parang nag-FGD kami. Para tinawag lang namin sila, pinakain lang namin silang gulay. Tapos tinanong namin sila kung anong gusto nila mangyari. So basically parang medyo 3 parts na yon. So we had the product, we had the supply, and then we had the target market. So obviously the last thing na lang din for us was yung logistics. So if you saw yung slide ni Shar kanina, meron yung picture na nakasakay siya sa tricycle. So yung ginagawa namin before, we would go to the farms ourselves, we would talk to the farmers on the day itself, ask them what was available to be delivered, ganyan. Tapos we would take them back to Capas the following day. What usually happened was, uwi ako the same day, tapos si Shar would stay overnight, would ferry the vegetables via bus. Kasi back then, we didn't know our options in terms of, so yung picture dun sa kanina, sa slide ni Shar kanina, that was actually our first run in 2012, late in 2012. So, punong-puno yung tricycle, just Hong Kong bags of vegetables, ganyan-ganyan. So, sasakay niya yun sa bus, tapos, ginagawa ko, sinusundo ko na lang siya in a undisclosed terminal in Quezon City, ganyan. Kasi, text niya lang ako parang, pasakay na ako ng bus at whatever time siya sasakay ng bus. Depende kung anong oras dumaan yung bus. Tapos sasabihin niya na, please pick me up in this terminal. PS, I am very, 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 very hungry. Please feed me. So, at that time, vegetarian na siya. Ako parang, I had no idea what vegetarianism was. So, I would just come up with whatever. Tapos, pakain ko sa kanya. Tapos, when she gets into the car and starts eating it, sabihin niya na, oh my God, this is the best whatever I've eaten in my life. Tapos years later, sabihin niya, gutom lang pala ako. So, I don't know kung gutom nga lang siya or magaling talaga ako magluto. But anyway, yun. So, the next one, so parang we started the subscription na. We were delivering vegetables to our subscribers. Pero back then, we were still just working with the Capas farmers. So, as you can imagine, lowland siya. So, puro pinakbit vegetables. Puro talong, ampalaya, talbos ng kamote, those kinds of vegetables. Tapos, I guess the usual market, and because our target market was around parang mga ABC, medyo pa naghahanap sila nung vegetables that they're used to. So, hanap sila, don't you have carrots? Don't you have broccoli? Etc. etc. So, being the suppliers that we are, we wanted to keep them happy. So, sabi namin, okay, sige, akit tayong Baguio, hanap tayo ng farmers. So, we visited a few farms, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos, we found this group that was organized by the municipal agriculturists sa La Trinidad. So, yun. Hindi pala. Ito pala yung muna. So, may target market. Tapos, saka lang humabol sa supply. So, hinanap namin. So, nahanap namin sila Organica. Yun. they were organized by the municipal agriculturists. Tapos, at that time, they were just finishing their ICS eh. So parang they were sponsored by the local government to undergo OCCP certification. So, yun, patapos na sila, tapos naghanap sila ng market. So sabi namin, okay, we can try that out. Tapos we included it in the bayong, ganyan. Tapos, although easier kasi, actually, it's a lot easier to get vegetables from Baguio than Tarlac. Although it's twice as far. Kasi medyo established yung logistics eh. Parang there are a lot of people who get vegetables or actually kahit ano that send stuff from Manila to Baguio. So and actually, it's even cheaper. So I don't know why, but that's how it is. Tapos, so yun, in 2013, we started working with the Episcopal Churches of the Philippines, Church of the Philippines. So, ito naman, parang we randomly, parang when people ask us how we find our farmers, parang usually happenstance eh. Parang sobrang random lang how we found and find our farmers. So like si ECP, Char was doing a talk here in Ateneo. Tapos parang the president of the ECP just approached her and told her, hey, we have farmers in the mountain provinces, ganyan, can you work with them? Parang at that time kasi, we didn't even have an office. We were just packing anywhere. So, people would find us packing sometimes dito. When somewhere here, like in a random parking lot, we would set up a table and then start packing the vegetables there. Sometimes sa bahay ni Char, tapos magugulat yung parents niya, bakit kami nandun? Sometimes sa dorm niya. So, since super squatters kami at that time, parang susunduin ko si Char, pag sundo ko sa kanya from the terminal, sakala kami may decide, saan tayo mag-pack today? mas ganun yung ginagawa namin. So, when we talked to ECP, tapos yun, they offered na we should work with their farmers, we asked them na parang, oh, do you have a place to stay? Ay, do you have a place that we can stay? So, parang yan, medyo nag-trade kami. Okay, we'll visit your farms, we'll see how we can work with them, ganyan. Tapos, they just gave us a small hut to pack our vegetables sa may E. Rodriguez. But anyway, yun, we visited different communities in throughout the mountain provinces. Umabot kami ng Sagada, umabot kami ng Besao, basta different places in mountain province na hindi namin alam. Tapos basta they were just logging us around mountain province. Pero yun, we found yung sa Bauco, the farmers in Bauco. Back then, they were still called Bauco Organic Practitioners Association. But now, parang, kasi that used to be a very big group that was working with the local government then. But now but in a nutshell, we're working with a smaller group now. But still, they're mostly the same farmers from Bauco. So yun. And then, no.
So I think in the original business model, we had just intended to work with one farm, Capas, or one group of farmers. So I didn't cost a packing place in Manila as part of the whole business model because we would pack with the farmers, everything comes from there and goes out. But when we saw that the market wanted chop suey vegetables, we were actually like, I would pick up the vegetables from Baguio, from Victory Liner, Cubao Terminal, go to Capas where they're packing the vegetables in the morning at 4 a.m. and then come back here. So it was like that. So it's like, it could only grow so much, right? So that's why we decided to negotiate for, okay, we need a place to pack in Metro Manila.
So also, to add on to the list na hindi namin naisip when we started this, parang when we started yung CSA kasi, parang yun lang iniisip namin. We just wanted to do the subscription boxes. That's it. No ifs or buts. Also, we only wanted to do them in commitments. So parang you can only commit to receiving the box 4 weeks at 4 weeks, tapos one box per week, or 12 weeks. Ganun lang. Parang iniisip namin nun kasi, well, parang 12 weeks, if you think of it, is 3 months. Tapos more or less, that's like 1 season, di ba? Parang ganun siya. So parang iniisip namin na we wanted the subscribers and the consumers to experience what the farmers would experience, di ba? So parang, because how we did it was, we just delivered whatever was available, whatever was there. So parang kung konti siya, konti lang din makukuha mo. Kung medyo maraming gulay, marami ka din makukuha. So that's parang in our heads, medyo romantic siya for us. So, but when we started working with more farmers, parang we realized din na not everyone could receive vegetables that way. Na parang, syempre ideally, yes, pwede sana siya, but I mean, that's also the reason why we call ourselves an alternative distribution system. Diba? Medyo kakaiba siya. Diba? It's not very easy. Tapos, syempre dahil din our main target markets are in the ABC, sometimes they're detached from their kitchen. Parang some of them agree with the idea, some of them like the idea, some of them love the vegetables, but the people working with their vegetables mismo, their maids, their kasambahay, their cook, don't agree to this, di ba? Parang when they cook a certain dish, they only want certain vegetables and they only want it when they want it, when they want to buy it, in whatever form or way they want it. Di ba? So medyo mahirap din. May gap siya. May disconnect yung dalawa na yun. So, yun, parang some people started approaching us, asking us na, hey, can I just buy these vegetables? Ganyan. So, parang, oo. Pero yun, for a while, sobrang, medyo nagkikrisis din kami. Kasi, well, we originally wanted to do this na whatever vegetable lang yung available, yun lang yung mapupunta sa box mo. Pero parang, at the end of it, we realized na, well, as long as we're able to move more vegetables for the farmer, that's better for them. Parang, we can set this aside first, this romantic part of it for us, just parang for the benefit of the farmer din. Kasi parang, yun nangyayari, kung ano lang yung kaya namin in terms of the subscriptions. And although we do promise a minimum purchase guarantee, because there were not a lot, parang hindi rin siya ganun karami. So, in order to work with more farmers to move more vegetables, we decided na, okay, sige, we can just do that first. For elements, that's mostly it. I mean, well, not mostly, but that's some parts of it. I guess what I'm trying to say then in this iteration is, parang although there are parang elements that I identified, they don't pop up na in sequential order eh. Lalabas lang siya kung kailan nila gusto lumabas. So, parang kunyari, the farmers want to work with you suddenly, then bigla na lang may additional farmers that you need to work with. There are more vegetables that you need to sell. Sometimes din naman, parang when we started, not a lot of people understood and even liked the idea of a CSA. Parang, why would I buy a box from you, which I don't know what contains, and then pay you upfront? So parang sobrang alien no idea. But now, na parang we're in a more steady state, na parang the consciousness and the awareness is quite high these days, parang suddenly ang dami mo namang market na pwedeng i-serve and now we don't have enough supply. Parang iba-iba siya. Minsan naman parang, I guess there was a time na super mataas yung inflation, parang gas prices were very high, logistics was a very difficult thing to do. And I mean, even until now, di ba, parang sobrang traffic na everywhere, parang kaya usong-uso na si Angkas din, di ba, parang before, puro Grab and Uber lang, but now, pati Angkas, parang people are just riding the motorcycles because it's been just very difficult. But at the same time yon, inflation, I mean, paying the farmers proper prices for their vegetables, it also affects the product and the price. Parang how we budget, what we put in the baskets, and at the same time, how we pay the farmers. No, it's not okay. Yeah. Na parang pre-prepared ingredients, just cook it, di ba?
Not necessarily prepared, but you can maybe like a small piece of paper that includes like interesting recipes for other recipes for the after. That way you have additional content also for marketing.
Actually, that's part of what I'm going to talk about next. So, planted. Actually, parang, yes. Thank you very much for that very beautiful segue. Although medyo nandun pa siya sa susunod eh. Medyo napaaga lang ng konti. Actually, nasa last siya. So, parang in terms of farm planning din, saka contract growing, parang, So when you have the elements, basically you have a system. You have a working system of how to get your vegetables to your customers, di ba? Parang ganoon na siya. Pero because yun nga, like I said earlier, you don't want parang hindi siya per transaction lang. It's not a transaction-based relationship. We want a deeper relationship. So parang the other petals make the relationship with your farmers and consumers deeper. Parang what you do after that is to improve that part of it. So, yun, like yung sinasabi mo na how to support your consumers better. Kasi parang, personally, sometimes I feel guilty na parang we're only thinking about the farmers all the time. Na parang, minsan na ano talaga siya eh. Kasi di ba, kunyari, gano'n, sasabihin mo lang di, tanggapin mo, ito lang yung meron eh, di ba? Di ba? Minsan parang isipin mo, di, tama lang naman. Kasi parang if you think of where they are in life din. Medyo, di ba? Pero at the same time, because we're parang at the end of the day, we're also a business. We're trying to make it work and we're trying to make it work for everyone, not just for the farmers, di ba? You need to understand both parts of it. So, we wanted to do support programs for the consumer. Ganyan. So, for us to be able to do something like that, we needed to know what vegetables there would be rin. Parang for a lot of the farmers, especially parang sa Kapas, the first ones that we started working with, yung behavior nila in terms of what vegetables to plant was whatever they felt like. So parang gusto ko magtanim today ng nito. Yun na yung tubo. Tapos the next day, iba na naman. So parang if you ask them a week before, hey, what are you going to plant? Ewan ko, yun na natin bukas, bahala na. Ganun yung nila, ganun yung behavior. Although very different din naman in different places. So like, sa upland, parang mas sanay sila sa vegetables because they're primarily vegetable farmers, di ba? Sanay sila magtanim ng gulay. Yun naman, different kind of experience naman with them na minsan nagpa-plan sila, pero pag tinanong mo naman sila kung ano ipaplan nila, para maplano mo rin yung i-deliver mo, ayaw naman nila sabihin. Kasi may commitment issues sila. May commitment issues din sila kasi depende dun sa experience din nila eh. Na dati may nagtanong sa akin, sinabi ko sa kanya kung ano itatanim ko. Tapos nung harvest season na hinanap niya sa akin, hindi ko nabigay. Patay ako. So bakit ako magpa-promise sa iyo ngayon ng kung anong ipaplant ko, di ba? So sometimes even if you tell them na, hey, it's just a plan, no commitment, you don't have to say yes right now, you don't have to wear the ring, whatever, ayaw pa rin nila. So, yun, different siya. So, ayun, medyo the other parts of how to deepen your relationship with everyone in the community is different naman and kind of self-explanatory. I'll just read them kasi medyo maliit yung text, tsaka I spent a lot of time with the colors. So, quality control, communication barriers, community dynamics, and as mentioned, yun, farm planning and parang contract growing with the farmers. Again, babalikan ko si timeline, how it appears and how our experiences with those different aspects naman. So, yun, it just changed the legend. So, para lang ma-identify yung color. So, medyo maliit siya. Anyway, yun. So, community dynamics. Yung isang experience namin, so, yun, parang for me, medyo ground zero si Kapas. Kasi it was the first community that we worked with. So, in 2016, in a nutshell, nag-away-away sila. Magkakapit-bahay sila, yung iba magkakamag-anak, yung iba asawa ng kapatid ng asawa ng anak ni ganito, pero nag-away-away sila. So, different reasons why. Government had a part, interpersonal dynamics had a part, nainggit si ganito had a part. Basically, parang gano'n. Nag-away-away sila. They were just one group. Tapos nangyari, naghiwalay sila. So, parang the way I look at how to deepen the relationship is parang it's a challenge in two different definitions. It's a challenge in the sense na mahirap siya. It's the difficulty. Also, it's a challenge in the sense na it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to understand your farmers better, understand your consumers better, so that you can have a deeper relationship with them. I mean, kung tuloy-tuloy lang naman yung relationship, medyo wala siyang kulay. Pero parang if there are ups and downs, usually that's how you strengthen the relationship naman with any kind of relationship. So yun, away-away sila, and then at the end of it, sabi nila sa amin, dito na kami. Maghihiwalay kami ng grupo, mamili kayo. Sinong kukuhanan niyo ng gulay. So, being the responsible parents that we are, we said, no children, we're not getting vegetables from anyone until you kiss and make up. Hindi sila nagbate. Hindi sila nagbate. So, ginawa na lang namin, okay, sige, 2 weeks ka, 2 weeks ka. So, ganyan na lang ginawa namin. Medyo, siya, Solomonic yung division. Parang, kasi hindi kami makahanap and we wanted to work with everyone. And what we did at that time was just stop all deliveries. So no one was being able to deliver vegetables. So sayang din yung gulay. So at the end of it, medyo nag-give in din kami. Hindi rin namin kinaya. Sabi namin, okay, sige, 2 weeks na lang kayo. So hanggang ngayon, medyo alternate sila nagde-deliver. But at the same time naman, it allowed them to grow amongst themselves din. Kasi parang instead of just one entity, tapos usually kasi, yun ang nangyayari sa community. So, kanyari may magiging champion na parang, okay, I'll take our values and bring the whole group together and then just deliver vegetables, ganyan. Usually, nangyayari, pag may ganun na champion, ginugulpi nila. Na parang, ikaw na lang, ako pagod na ako, baka pwedeng kayo naman. Hindi, kaya mo yan, ikaw na lang. So, kanyari, pati coordination, kausap namin for ordering na vegetables, siya na lang lagi, tas siya lahat. I mean, usual very usual behavior. So, medyo nahirapan kami. But yun, in some senses na kahit nag-away sila, at least there was something positive out of it din. Na parang more people within the community had space to grow for themselves. Diba? Medyo nag-improve din sila. Tapos, yun, 2016 naman, also the same year, parang as Char mentioned, parang si Healthy Options, well, we didn't find them, they found us. And then they just said na, hey, we want to sell vegetables in our shops. Ganyan. So, yun, ito naman si quality control. Kasi before, it's easier to just do the subscriptions Parang whatever vegetables, like, usually naman for households, hindi naman sila supermarket But I think everyone knows Healthy Options. Diba? So, we know the target market, diba? So, medyo, at the same time kasi, they're retailers, so they need to take care of the quality of the produce. So, at the same time, yun, they were requiring it from us. So, yun, we needed to be able to translate that to the farmers na maintindihan nila and maintindihan nila kung bakit. Kasi, bakit dati kinukuha nyo naman to? Dati okay lang to. Bakit ngayon biglang may additional na tayo na requirement? So, that was one thing for us to explain to them na yes, we can still take these vegetables, but we also need to be able to put standards into what we're doing. Hindi pwedeng basta bara-bara lang na whatever yung makuha natin, deliver na lang. Kasi, well, it's a healthy exercise din naman na for them to be able to identify which produce is good and which is parang segmentation lang din ng market. Not just to say na may bad, may good, pero which vegetable is for which market siya. Tapos, konti na lang, 2 na lang. Growing steady demand. So, yun. 2018, last year, parang, dahil ang tagal-tagal na namin ginagawa, tapos, tumatanda na rin kami. Ako lang? Kasi matanda ka na nun. So, yun.
Price of wisdom is age.
So, yun. Pero parang, syempre, different stages of our lives na rin, ganyan. Parang we decided na, okay, pag ito hindi pa gumana, ayoko na talaga. So, parang, yun, we tried to find a way of how to work with the farmers better din. Kasi at that time, the demand was growing. Parang there were more restaurants that wanted to work with us. There were a lot of different consumers that wanted to work with us. Pero parang hindi namin natatranslate siya with the supply. Kasi parang before, sabi namin sa farmers, sige, okay lang, kung ano lang gusto mo itanim, tanim mo lang. Tapos we'll just market it however, whichever other ever words. So yun, parang parang mas naging deliberate kami working with the farmers. So parang sabi namin na, we need this, how can we do that? We need you to be more deliberate in what you're planting, tapos be more honest din about your ability to deliver certain products. So parang, if at this season, wala talaga, masyado talaga maulan, lubog talaga lahat, mamamatay lahat, huwag natin ipilit. Kasi dati naman sinasabi na namin yon. Pero wala, because nga yung behavior is just whatever, whenever. Ganun pa rin siya. Pero because we wanted to be more deliberate about it, yun, parang sabi namin, just be honest about it. If hindi talaga. So understanding the seasonality of the vegetables then. And parang one unmentioned thing in the PETAS is also like how we work together. So, team dynamics.
Yeah. So
second challenge is, well, when I started this with people, it was like very anarchy. You know, like, come on, citizens of the world, let's do this together, right? And then there's no hierarchy. We're all choosing this lifestyle. If we're rich, if we're rich together, we're all rich. If we're poor, we're all poor. And we figure out where you fit in. But after several years and the complexity of the thing, that kind of informality became very detrimental also to the way we work. So we needed, and we found that the people who were coming in, we couldn't also retain if there weren't more structure and defined rules, to whom does what, and kind of like minimum accountability guidelines. So it took like a lot of like soul searching also, and also the willingness to have difficult conversations to begin saying like, if we want this to really work, who do we need to be, and how do we need to be with each other, both with our team and with the farmers. So I think one thing that Ernest wanted to mention was like how, the champion usually gets bullied, or like just all the work is dumped onto the unsupported. We said this is no longer sustainable. So you as the coordinator should get some sort of salary kasi hindi na siya nakakatanim eh. Text lang siya ng text di ba? And coordinate ng coordinate. So that person needs to be compensated for the communal work. And because we believe that we can reach this volume, we're going to subsidize the first 6 months. But by after 6 months, we should get to this volume so that the percentage of what you sell can pay for that salary. And we were very clear on this is what product offer means, this is what we expect these are the reports that you need to give us. So we had to have that kind of discipline, and I think it's made all the difference for us. Now, it's a great joy to attend the meeting that we don't have to manage ourselves.
Actually, pinapalabas na nila kami. Na nagmi-meeting yung farmers yun, pinapalabas na nila kami. Okay, magmi-meeting muna kami, labas muna kayo. Ayan. So from before, when we started with Kapas, sinusundo namin sila lahat isa-isa. Okay po, may meeting po tayo, punta po kayong ganitong oras. Ganun yung ginagawa namin. Pero ngayon, yun, they set up their own agenda, someone takes the minutes of their own meetings, ganyan. Tapos yun, parang for discussions that we actually don't have to be there, they just ask us to, okay, kain muna kayo dun. Gagawin lang namin to. Tapos magbalik namin, tapos na. Okay na sila. So, we couldn't be more proud about it. So yun. Tapos, I guess the other thing lang na is communication barriers. Which we experience all the time. So when we're meeting even the existing farmers that we're working with, or we're meeting new farmers or new communities, parang medyo mahirap siya if you don't speak the local dialect. That's one thing. So parang even when I came in, parang Char was already working with the Kapas farmers maybe for 2 years, 2-3 years. Pero parang in their eyes, she was always madam. Ganun yung tingin nila sa kanya. So yes, it works in some senses, pero because you're trying to create a relationship din, a deeper relationship, medyo may barrier siya. So parang, well, for few years, medyo nagtatampo sa akin si Char about it. Kasi parang the moment I stepped into Kapas, parang medyo mas naging ka-close ko sila than the few years that she was working with them. Kasi, well, she doesn't speak very good Tagalog. See? Ang una niya reaction is what? So parang ako, yun, parang mas nakakausap ko sila, mas madali akong usapin. Saka, yun, parang I guess, in my perspective din kasi, there were 2 of us that would come to the farm. So, she can be madam all she wants or all the time, but I can be their friend. So parang, kunyari may bisita, siya yung haharap sa bisita. Tapos magtatago ako kasama ng mga farmers. Tapos magbubulungan kami na, sino ba kasi yan? Ba't ba nandito yan? So, parang in some senses, medyo mas naging ka-close ko sila because of that. So, not to discount naman Char's role in it. Parang, we were able to play good cop, bad cop for the farmers. Ganyan. Sometimes, for different people, I'm the bad cop, but usually, I'm the good cop because she looks more like a bad cop. So yun. Pero, yun, parang I guess we're still not very good at it because we still don't know as much dialects as we want to. Pero that's one thing na makes the relationship better for everybody. So if you can, not just spoken language Parang if you can read the body language, di ba? If you can see na parang medyo tentative sila about certain things, Diba? Parang kung parang feeling mo, oo lang sila ng oo, panimi-meeting kayo, pero hindi naman pala nila ginagawa. Makikita mo naman over the years, maiintindihan mo kung paano sila mag-communicate, not just in spoken language. So, yun, attention to the people that you're working with, being more mindful of how you're working with them. Kasi parang usually, I think, a lot of us are very guilty, especially if we come from or from higher education or from the cities na we have an idea of how we want to work with the farmers, diba? We have a certain idea of how to better their lives. Pero minsan, we forget to just listen, diba? Oo. Marami ka rin, if you listen enough, if you quiet yourself enough, if you be humble enough to listen to them, baka minsan mas marami, actually most of the time, mas marami pa sila matuturo sa'yo kaysa gusto mo ituro sa kanila. So, yun.
You guys had a production schedule already where they would tell you, Ernest, this is what you have.
In different levels. Parang some communities were better, like, baka lang hindi narinig na iba. Parang she's asking whether parang the farmers were able to give us production plans or parang ganyan, production schedules, forecast of whatever they're going to harvest. So some of them were more advanced than the others. Some of them parang ganun pa rin, tatanim pa rin kung anong gusto nila at kailan. Pero parang we tried din naman na parang we checked our historical data, what were they able to plant in certain seasons. Tapos yun, medyo kinukulit lang din namin, sila lang kinukulit na, hey guys, it's production planning time. So, different. Ang dami namin tinry na production planning strategies and styles sa kanila na parang, okay, this is what we need. We need you to commit, ganyan, or parang different variations of it. So, yun, to answer your question, some of them, oo, pero parang ideally kasi we wanted them monthly, we wanted them weekly, ganyan. Pero, yun, up until now, actually in some senses, medyo hindi pa rin talaga. Except for me, mostly siguro for the upland farmers who are more able to do that. Mas kaya nila. So now we do retail vegetables, then ganyan. Tapos what we do na lang din now is we plan that better with the farmers. So parang we want to be able to provide a good variety for our subscribers at the same time accommodate whatever other. So what we do na lang din is parang we ask them to commit to certain, like our other customers, we ask them to commit to certain volume para din sulit for the farmer. So we just translate that. Parang same din, commitment siya. Tapos yun, the same thing na sinasabi ni Shar kanina, both markets have a role in what we're trying to do. Na parang, because they bring in the volume and they bring parang a steady amount of income and vegetables for the farmers, but at the same time, the farmers are able to plant a good variety of vegetables kasi we're able to put that in the subscriptions na parang not as demanding in terms of what they want or what they need in certain periods of time. Not 52. Siguro mga 48. Parang, kasi may mga ano din eh. Usually ganyan. Kasi medyo dependent. Although, since mas marami na nga rin yung retail, parang we're able to use that as a platform for kahit kumaunti yung subscriptions, ganyan. Kasi usually kapag ganyan, Christmas break, a lot of people take vacation, so marami nagpo-pause na subscriptions nila. But now that we have a different market other than the subscriptions, parang kahit konti lang, we're able to put it just on top of that.
Subscription is still gonna be yung whatever goes in yung kayo.
Mm.
And then you have yung retail, which is a little bit more a la carte,
Ah,
customized.
yeah.
So in your business here, how much percent is retail and how much percent is subscription? So
Mga 40 si subscriptions. No? Mga 40 si subscriptions, tas another 30 to 40 si retail.
and then the rest is institutional.
By yung retail kasama na si institutional. So parang the rest of the 40-40 siya. Tapos the 20% is just a mix of other things. So that includes also yung Sunday market namin, ganyan.
I was just gonna add that the subscriptions are still the priority. So usually Kara allocates first
Mandaluyong.
what do we want to give our
Mandaluyong.
subscribers
Shaw
before we
Boulevard.
offer the retail. And the retail is not perfect. It's not like a routine supermarket experience. We tell you what's available and then best effort if we can fulfill. Kasi yun nga, we have other priorities then. So we charge a higher margin on retail because of that choice that they make. Yeah, they're in a sense less risk on their part as compared to our subscribers who we want to take care of.
Ano nga ba yung na-complete ko? Parang something like around 15% siguro. We still need to improve our information systems, but from a very loose computation, parang 15% yung subscriptions. From week to week. So parang, say for example, there are 10 people subscribing now, parang 1.5 people, if that makes sense, stop subscribing at the week.
So you have 80%.
Oh, yung retention rate, 85. Oh, si dropout rate, sorry, yung 15. Around that.
But what's nice is that if we look at our subscriptions, many of them go for the Gulay Pambahay, our very first product na 12 weeks. So we see that, people have grown with us. Like even after a while now, they're like, what is the vegetable? Like after a while, their lives have changed and they're used to cooking with the vegetables. And so they, in a way, maintain a good base for us to continue our work.
Mostly, yes. More or less. Depende. Nag-iiba-iba rin siya. Depende for the different products. Parang I guess for the smaller ones, mas yung mga not necessarily si juicing. Yung small tampipi sa kasi salad pack. Parang more the work, parang the how to put this? Mga adolescents, ganyan. So parang mga working professionals. Yun. Sorry. Terminology is not my strong term. It's not my strong suit.
So like my
Kaya nga
age,
changed it.
like I'm mid-30s and many of my age have kids. So they are of the consciousness and they are willing to but usually it's like, do I have time to cook at home? Do I have someone to help me out? That's also a factor. We tried marketing to the titas, yung mga 60s, beyond, hit or miss. Some of them really like it because when they taste the vegetables, they're like, oh my gosh, this is real vegetables that they haven't had. But others are like, hindi ako makapili. And so it's usually kind of more the people with the wavelength around 40s to 30s that are willing to try. And usually they're not able to do every week, pero when they're able, they buy one basket, they buy it for weeks.
How about people who have issues different targets and also influence you or just
They usually find us, other than the other way around.
Yeah, and then we work out a situation for them. So we had someone who was suffering from psoriasis, and he said he needed like how many kilos of carrots and beets every week. And then I saw that like, okay, we can conceivably deliver to him, but I asked for a commitment of like 4 weeks or something for a lower price because we want. So yeah, situations like that do happen.
That's the end of my beautiful presentation. Gusto niyo ulitin ko? Joke. Ayan, you wanna do this?
So, yeah, when we were discussing this, and this is really now, this work is possible because of other volunteers, other people who join like because we're so busy working on the business that we don't have time to think about what we're doing. So I have to mention that Eka has been helpful in doing this. But so what we want to emphasize is that the way that we're doing this has obviously been we want to emphasize that the way that we've been doing this has been kind of like learning by doing. So it's a praxis. You have an idea and then you try it out and then you refine and you choose. So, and along our 8-year journey, we've had different people come and go. Ernest has stayed. But it will also, it depends on what your values are and what your shared goals. So something I forgot to mention is whether it's a farmer-initiated or a consumer-initiated CSA, and that would make a very big difference in like how you were to do it. So if you were a farmer, your idea is really to push as much vegetables as possible. That's your priority. Whereas maybe if like you're a consumer, you might want to give like a particular kind of vegetable to
your community. So along the way, it's really like iteration between the people that join your team, what your values are, and what your goal is. So at this point, what I really wanted to do was to share with you the experiences of different people, because just in the last couple of years, we've had so many other expressions of CSA. When I started before, there was my personal farmer. They're no longer, it's Hiniliban Farms. Yeah, so but I think they also stopped. And there was this other Japanese farmer from Pangasinan, but that was it. This year, I know Jejo before, when I spoke with him, also offered some kind of harvest baskets. So we got his input. And Kai Farms offers harvest baskets from their permaculture farm. We also have Imagsasaka, who's now Bukid Fresh. And we have Uproot, who does aquaculture naman, but also with a view of like creating more farming jobs. So we have, and Shereza, so Che, whom I mentioned, worked with us. Yeah, so the Los Baños market has Che. So they can contact Che for the vegetables from her farmers. So what I really wanted to do now was to show that to you. However, it's a good half an hour of like 5 minutes each or so, and we only have 10 minutes left. So if you don't mind, maybe I'll just do the first. Would you prefer that? Or would you prefer to do questions? And then anyway, it'll all be uploaded for our last 10 minutes. We'll upload everything on YouTube, if that's okay. Yeah. Because I mean, that's why we have Cherry over here documenting everything. Because I mean, I know a lot of people wanted to join this, but we can't do this again very soon. So we hope to share that experience online. So yeah, for your last 10 minutes, would you like to hear from some of our other farmers, or would you like to ask more questions? You want to hear from the other farmers? Oh yeah, so there, I mentioned them. So, oh yeah, okay. Before we go to that, Ernest, through Crossfields and Sakano Tochu and Toyota Foundation, was able to go to Japan and witness a whole industry of this CSA thing. And it was just amazing for us. We hope that you can do the same. And he also got to intern and study at Sakano Tochu, which is like number 3 in the industry, who is like who we would be if we were in Japan. They also work with smallholder farmers, and it's also organic with a view of creating that community. Who do you want to hear from? So we have, oh, that would be Ernest. So Bukid Fresh is Imagsasaka. They work with farmers kind of in southern Luzon. And the idea is you buy online and then they deliver to you, directly to you. So they don't call themselves organic, but they try to do good agriculture practice. Yun. So that's Bukid Fresh. Uproot, aquaculture naman. He started with his own little farm in Rizal. And now he's partnered with a priest who can do aquaculture on their rooftop. And then all of that produce goes to sell to like kind of like BPI or kind of dense communities. And the idea is to create naman wage farmers on those farming setups. So those are 2. And then you want to hear from Che. Which one? Because we only have 10 minutes. So which one do you want to hear from? Che from Shereza, Malipayon Farms, or Kai Farms? Malipayon. Okay, let's hear from Jejo. It's a good choice because Jejo runs his own farm. And so you have an idea of a farmer-initiated agriculture.